Welcome, Health Warrior. Are you taking mineral supplements but not really sure if they're working? You're not alone. Most of the clients that come to see me, when I first speak with them, they're pretty much all taking mineral supplements, but they're not sure if they're working. And it's not your imagination. And not only are they not working, but they can actually be doing harm inside of your body. Like the things you're trying to avoid or overcome, they could actually make worse. Okay. So today we're going to go over the three major reasons why your mineral supplements do not work. I'm going to list them out, then we'll go over them in detail, and then I'll give you a solution at the end. Okay, so the number one reason is the recommended dietary allowance of the minerals, the amount that you should take of each mineral that they recommend. That amount, the recommended dietary allowance, is faulty and it sets you up for failure. Okay, so the number two reason is the essential minerals list, like the minerals that they say that are required for you to be healthy. That list is incomplete. There are many more that you need to be healthy than are on that list. So that list sets you up for failure. Okay. And then the third reason is that the minerals that are available, like on the shelves of your favorite health food store or online supplement store, etc., 99% of those minerals that are available, both online and offline, are not bioavailable, meaning that you cannot utilize them for good in your body. And you could actually, when you absorb them, they get stored in your fat cells, and you could actually build up toxic amounts of them that cause the diseases and symptoms that you're trying to overcome or prevent from happening. Okay, so let's get into each one of these in detail. So number one is the recommended dietary allowance is faulty and sets you up for failure. So I have this clinical study here. It's a peer-reviewed study. And let me just make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Alrighty. So it's mineral requirements for mitochondrial function. So the amount of minerals that you need for your mitochondria to function well in each cell of your body. So the mitochondria is your cell's powerhouse. So every cell in your body has mitochondria, and it is responsible for creating the energy that's required to do all the different functions that your body needs to, and also build your immune system, etc. Okay, so let's go down over here, and there's this Professor Bruce Ames, and he's wrote a series of papers that began 20 years ago, and they proposed that the recommended intake, the recommended dietary allowance, or the daily value, that recommended intake for essential micronutrients such as minerals, both macro minerals and trace minerals, they should be reset to promote optimal health rather than just avoiding acute disease. Okay, and it's a campaign he called "Tuning Up the Metabolism." So I'll read that again. That the micronutrients or the minerals, the essential minerals, that value should be reset to promote optimal health rather than just avoiding acute disease. So, in other words, the recommended dietary allowance or the daily value. Let me show you a daily value on like a. You're used to seeing these nutrient facts lists on labels on the back of a supplement label or something, right? Or even a food label, and it has these minerals down towards the bottom, and it'll have this the amount, like calcium, 260 milligrams, and that's 20%. Let me go back over here, and that 260 milligrams is 20% of the recommended daily value or the recommended dietary allowance for that day. So that percentage is just the amount to prevent acute disease from forming, just like it says here. It's to reset to promote optimal health rather than just avoiding acute disease. So that daily value is just enough to prevent acute disease from happening, but not to promote optimal health. So you can still be sick and not have acute disease. So it's meant to keep you sick and pretty much diseased, those daily values, because the range between the amount to avoid acute disease and the amount to achieve optimal health could be, fivefold and tenfold, like literally 5 times, 10 times, sometimes 20 times the amount, from that it takes to avoid acute disease, that it takes to achieve optimal health. So that's why when I first start working with people, we do a lot of times we'll be doing like macro dosing, like taking more, and oftentimes a lot more than what you would normally take, and you do that for a period of time to overcome situations and reset your body, and then you go into maintenance phases where you take lower amounts to maintain the results, but you oftentimes have to macro dose and take excessive amounts so you overcome the disease that's been allowed to form in your body because of these recommended dietary values being much too low. So, like what doctors are told, what nutritionists are told, they're told how to keep you sick and diseased. That's what they're actually taught in schools, and they're not taught how to keep you in optimal health. And that's what I've spent my whole life um, discovering, learning about from mentors, from my undergrad, post grad, all that kind of stuff. I put my whole life into this, and it's what my whole life is based off of, and because I want that for myself as well as the people that come to me. Okay, so that's number one. The recommended dietary allowance is faulty. It just prevents acute disease from forming, but it doesn't get you into optimal health. All right. So the number two is essential minerals list is incomplete. Okay. So there's a list of minerals that they say are essential for optimal health. And let me see here. And it's basically, there's like, this is from medicinenet.com. And this is like the list that you'll see like in the World Health Organization, the FDA. It's ultimately this global NGO, non-governmental organization called Codex Alimentaris, and they set the standards for the recommended dietary values for every country in the world, and the World Health Organization, the U.S. FDA, etc. So, and they say that there's 13 essential minerals. Some sites that you'll see will have 15, but it flows between 13 and 15. And these are them: the calcium, sodium, potassium. Those are the macro minerals. And then you get down to these other ones like the iron, the zinc, the copper, that are more what they call trace minerals, where you don't need as much, but they're still vital for health. Okay, but there are more than 13. There's this site that I saw that has that lists 21, essential minerals and trace minerals, right, and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool, and it shows you and it shows you what they are, and what they do in your body, etc., and how they help. So it has much more than those 13. And then if you look at the Shilajit, which is the natural mineral complex that we use over here at MyFitLife, when we have been using for 20 plus years, there's actually 85 minerals in Shilajit. There's a number of them that are um, they're found in macro amounts, like grams, like thousands of milligrams, that are needed each day, and then ones that are just needed in very micro trace amounts, right? And so these are all of the ones that you need for the varying levels of health, and much more than the 13 or even the 21 that you see, right? There's actually 85, that are known to have beneficial health outcomes in your body. And so missing a number of these, like only getting 13 out of the 84, you will most likely get into ill health. Like you might be teetering on like between sickness and feeling quote unquote healthy, but not feeling amazing, right? Just not being sick, but not being sick isn't being healthy. So and the reason for this is that the minerals that they say that you need, which is from the point number one, the problem number one, the recommended dietary allowance being too low, and then number two, which is what we're going over now, is the number of minerals that they say, the 13, the 15, the 21 that they say you need much more than that, as many as 84 or 85 minerals and trace elements or trace minerals, that you need for optimal health in your body. And the Shilajit actually provides, all 85 plus of those trace minerals, the macro minerals and other trace elements. Okay. So the number three reason that we mentioned that the minerals just aren't beneficial that you're taking and why you don't feel them, and it's the major reason of why you don't feel the minerals, because you theoretically, even if you're taking some of the minerals, you should be feeling some benefit, right? But the reason people don't feel anything is because 99% of the minerals that are available both offline and online, like at your favorite health food store, your favorite supplement store, offline or online, 99% of those minerals, they're made in the lab, they're made by big pharma, and they are not bioavailable, meaning that they cannot be absorbed by your body and utilized for good. They can be absorbed by your body. Don't make any mistake about that. But they'll be stored in your fat cells as a toxin, and you could actually accumulate toxic levels of these lab-made minerals, or even these minerals that are what they call inert minerals that are gotten from like dirt or rocks, etc. In nature. Those are the more natural minerals, but those are also ones that your body cannot readily uptake because they haven't gone through a natural process to do that. So you can build up toxic amounts of them, the natural quote unquote ones that are from dirt and rocks, or the ones that are made in the lab, and you build up toxic amounts, and they can actually cause dis-ease in your body. Okay, so you're taking them, you don't feel them because they're not doing any, you don't absorb them and have them do any good in your body because they can't, because they haven't been processed through nature properly. And then beyond that, you could actually get toxic amounts, and the things that you're trying to avoid or overcome, like chronic fatigue and on to problems that are much worse, they can actually be made worse by these minerals, right? These lab made or these inert natural minerals. Okay, so those are the three reasons why the recommended dietary allowance is too low, the number of minerals on the essential minerals list is incomplete, and then the minerals themselves, your body just can't utilize them for good, and it could actually build up toxic amounts that do harm in your body. Okay, so what's the solution? And I mentioned Shilajit, and I showed you the 84 or 85 minerals, trace elements that are in there. So obviously, since I've been working with that for over 20 years, like I mentioned, that's the solution. Okay, so that's why you say like upgrade your morning routine. You usually take minerals in the morning, and they can actually give you a boost of energy because they're responsible for the function of your mitochondria. If we go back over here into this, like your mitochondria are your energy powerhouse in every single cell in your body. Like every single one of them. There isn't one of your cells that does not have a mitochondria energy producing powerhouse, and they will all function properly if you give them the proper minerals to function properly with, because minerals are what fine tune your mitochondria and allows it to function properly and produce that energy, right? And that's what this study is all about, and shows. And it actually shows if you don't have the sufficient amount of the minerals, that you could actually go into what they call this mitochondrial decay. Okay, and then that's where you go into chronic fatigue, and then and then as that goes on for a while, then you can go on to many other dis-ease, symptoms of dis-ease that are much worse, all the way to cancer and death. But it starts off with things as simple as chronic fatigue. Okay, so let me show you a little bit about before I go into the Shilajit. I want to show you a little bit about, like, there's the energy crisis that happens, with the mitochondrial decay that I just mentioned, and then and that's because the minerals are lacking in the food that we eat. But like I said, a lot of people, they're taking mineral supplements, but they're they don't have the properly digested minerals plant digested minerals, which we'll talk about with the Shilajit. But I made this little diagram that will sort of show, like, that the widely available minerals that are in your health food store, online or offline, the mineral supplements, they are questionable. They're not effective. Okay, and there's this dirty little secret that most of the minerals, like 90% or more, are synthetic. They're made by big pharma in the lab. They're not natural. And then the other ones that are supposedly natural that you see on the shelves that cost more, they're inert. They're not what they call they haven't gone through photosynthesis. They haven't been plant digested, which we'll talk about in a second. But they haven't gone through that, so your body cannot absorb them and utilize them for good. So they're similar to the synthetic minerals in the sense that they don't do any good in your body, because your body doesn't recognize them as something good. It recognizes them as a toxin, so it stores them in your fat cells, and you can actually build up toxic levels of them in your fat cells, and they cause symptoms of chronic disease and beyond. Like the longer that this predicament remains, the lack of proper minerals, the worse and worse your health can get. Okay, over time, and it literally could lead up to all kinds of wild things, that lead up to ultimately to death, right? Or premature death. Okay, and it's painful and excruciatingly painful, path to go too. It's not fun. So and you don't have, and it's really simple, just getting the proper minerals in. Especially if you're taking a mineral supplement already, then just take the one that works and you're good to go, right? And I'll show you that now. So so there's a lack of consumer awareness. We're misled about this by doctors, by nutritionists, because they're taught the wrong stuff in school. And I've spent my whole life, like studying this. I went to the same kind of schools. I went to chiropractic school, did all kinds of nutrition in undergrad and post grad. All that kind of stuff. So I understand minerals. Better than most, right? Better than most people on the planet, and they have to be digested by plants in order for you to uptake them and utilize them for good. And it's a process called photosynthesis, and there optimally would be this stuff called humic acid and fulvic acid present to help with that, to help with the plant's digestion. So it would be in the soil, and it helps the plants digest the minerals that it uptakes from the earth, from rocks or dirt or whatever, and it uptakes those, it digests them through photosynthesis. The humic acid assists with getting that a full digestion of those minerals in the plants, and then if you ingest humic acid into your body, it will actually help transport those minerals into your cells, into the mitochondria in your cells, so you can produce that energy and become an energy powerhouse. So certain cells that need energy, like heart cells, whatever, like your heart will function properly, and your muscle cells will function properly, and they'll give the force needed when you have to, when you're working out or doing your job or whatever, that needs any kind of physical stimulus. You'll be able to do that because you have the proper minerals in the cells and the energy powerhouse of your muscle cells to be able to do that. You have the proper minerals in your nerve cells to send those signals everywhere to have that proper, function in your body. So your heart functions right, your liver functions right, your muscles function correctly, your brain functions correctly. It's all it's all a beautiful thing. And just taking the proper minerals to have preferably some fulvic acid and humic acid along with it, you'll be able to absorb the minerals and feed that mitochondria like we just mentioned. Okay. And so it's all about this stuff called Shilajit. I get it from the Himalayas, and I've been dealing with it for 20 years, and it took me like a long time to find this partner right here. And like they have the most pristine lab I've ever seen, but it's like literally harvested off the sides of the Himalayan mountains at like 18,000 feet above roads. And then, it's in these rocks, and it's water harvested and then purified with moringa seeds, which are super nutritious, seeds from a super nutritious plant. And then so moringa seeds and water, no chemicals. It's a long, thoughtful process. And then they sun dry it in these glass enclosed facility, so the sun gets through but no contaminants get in. It's all in stainless steel, so it never touches plastic, just stainless steel or glass. So super super awesome. And like I said, like this is like plant digested material. It's thousands of years of plants that have been digested, and gone through this process to form this tar, which is just a dense form of the minerals. So it's actually like a supplement, and they call it an Ayurvedic herb. It's the most recommended substance in Ayurveda, which is like East Indian medicine, and it's like a religion basically in India and Pakistan, which are where the Himalayas are, right? So this is what we have. I have it at shilajitelixirs.com, and I have it in an easy to use elixir form, because it's typically in that paste that I just and like this right here is a tarry sticky substance, and when you have it in jars and stuff like that, it's hard to take without making a mess, and then you don't really know how much you're taking. So I've been working with it for over 20 years, and I've discussed things with my Himalayan partners and figured out a way to deliver it in a tincture where it doesn't compromise the purity, the quality, the potency of it, but it's super easy to deliver. So instead of taking like 10 minutes to prepare in the morning, it takes like 30 seconds to prepare and ingest. So it's like, so that's why we say like upgrade your morning routine, and it is a natural energy booster. So find out more about it at shilajitelixirs.com. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. All our contact info is in the show notes below this video. This is Al Morenton with My Fit Life and Shilajit Elixirs. Hope you have a beautiful day. Peace.